You are being escorted through Rome before dawn, and you do not know if you are a witness or the accused. That distinction in 62 BC is the difference between walking home and never being seen again. Her name is Fauna, freed woman, attendant to the wife of Julius Caesar. Last night, she was inside a sealed chamber in the most powerful house in Rome, carrying a sacred lamp through a ceremony that no man was permitted to witness. This morning, 2 strangers are 3 paces behind her, and no one has told her why. Something happened last night, something that has no name yet in the official record. But the Senate is already awake, and Rome before dawn is not silent. It is deciding. The cobblestones are wet. The torch ahead throws orange against white marble. Fauna is not under arrest. The men behind her wear no armour, carry no weapons. That is what makes them worse. Soldiers take you somewhere specific. Functionaries make you disappear quietly. She passes a doorway. Through the gap in the curtain, 2 senators are speaking in gestures. No words, just hands. And between them a clay lamp still burning at this hour. She looks away. In this city, seeing things is its own kind of crime. She stops. But the door in front of her is not the house she was told she was going to. She knows this entrance. It leads to a private chamber beside the Temple of Vesta. No one told her she would be going here. Rome, 62 BC. The late Republic is 20 years from destroying itself, though no one knows that yet. Julius Caesar is not yet Caesar. He is a magistrate, a politician, a man who has just had a catastrophe unfold inside his own home. His name will survive 2,000 years. The names of the women in his house that night will not. The ceremony was called the Bona Dea, the rite of the good goddess. It was held annually inside the home of the highest-ranking available magistrate, exclusively female, every lamp covered, every male animal removed from the premises, paintings of men veiled, but the goddess's true name was never written down, because not writing it was part of the protection. Contemporary sources, including Cicero's own letters and Plutarch's account, confirm what happened next. A man entered, an aristocrat named Publius Clodius Pulcher, disguised as a female musician, walked through the threshold of a rite that no man had violated in living memory. He was discovered. He was removed. The Senate convened an emergency session within days, and then something happened that 2,000 years of scholarship has largely skipped past. The full testimony gathered in that emergency inquiry, the closed-door session where witnesses spoke, was sealed, removed from public record. It has never surfaced in any archive. In 2 millennia of Roman scholarship, no complete transcript of what was said in that room has ever been recovered. The official history asks, what did Clodius do that night? That is the wrong question. The question this investigation is going to answer is darker, and the Senate knew it. What did the women in that room know? And what was it worth to make sure no one ever found out? If erased history is what you're here for, the version they buried, the version that changes everything, subscribe now. This is only the beginning. Clodius was acquitted, the jury was bribed, Caesar divorced his wife and refused to explain why. The inquiry was discontinued. Whatever was in that room, powerful men paid to keep it there. Rome had no separation of church and state. This is not a metaphor or a modern interpretation. It was the structural reality of how the city was built. The Pontifex Maximus, the highest religious authority in the Roman world, was an elected political office, but Julius Caesar held it simultaneously with his military commands. The men who decided what the gods required were the same men who decided what the law permitted. Sacred and secular power did not merely overlap, they were the same instrument. This matters because of what it made possible. The Vestal Virgins, 6 women who tended Rome's eternal flame, were among the only females in the entire city who could own property outright, conduct legal transactions without a male guardian, and give testimony that carried the weight of divine sanction. A Vestal's public intercession could halt a scheduled execution. Her word required no male witness to be valid. In a legal system that treated most women as permanent dependents, the Vestals were a category of their own. And the Bona Dea rite? It was hosted in the home of the city's most senior available magistrate, every year, without fail, which means that in any given December, the wives, daughters, and attendants of every major Roman political faction, were gathered in the same legally sealed, officially unrecorded space. No scribes, no husbands, no oversight of any kind. The sacred prohibition was not protecting the goddess from contamination, it was protecting the conversations from surveillance. The Senate knew exactly what those women had, and it had no legal mechanism to reach it. That is the machine. Now watch it run. Caesar's house. The night before, hours before anything goes wrong, the interior has been transformed. Every window covered, every doorway hung with dark cloth. The air carries cedar, and beneath it something older, burnt herbs, animal fat, the particular smell of ritual that has been performed in this same sequence for generations. Fauna moves through the rooms carrying a lamp. That is her function tonight, to keep the light continuous, to ensure no corridor falls into darkness during the rite. She has done this before. She knows the rhythm. The women move with deliberate quiet, not the quiet of reverence, but the quiet of precision. This is not spiritual ecstasy. This is a ceremony that has survived for centuries by being exact. She notices, as she always notices, that not all the conversations are about the rite. Near the east wall, 3 women speak in low clusters. Names, dates. A reference to something happening in 3 months that Fauna does not have enough context to understand. Another woman passes a folded piece of cloth to someone Fauna does not recognize. Fauna looks away. Discretion in this room is not a virtue, it is the admission price. Then something changes in the air. Not a sound exactly, more like the absence of the right sound. A footstep in the far corridor with the wrong weight. A breath too close to a wall where no one should be standing. Fauna turns. The lamplight reaches the doorway at the end of the hall. What it finds there is wearing women's clothing, but the face, that for just one fraction of a second before it retreats into shadow, is not a woman's face. She has just seen something that has not happened in living memory. And in Rome, what you have witnessed is never yours alone. It belongs to whoever finds out you saw it. To understand what Fauna witnessed, you need to go back 124 years. Because Rome had done this before, and what it did then tells you everything about what it was prepared to do now. In 186 BC, the Senate issued a decree that has survived to this day, not in a chronicle, not in a historian's account, in bronze. The Senatus Consultum de Bacchanalibus is a physical object, currently held in Vienna, and it is one of the most chilling administrative documents the ancient world produced. It ordered the systematic dismantling of Bacchic mystery cults across Italy, and it capped the number of worshippers permitted to gather at 5. It mandated the destruction of altars that had stood for decades, and it authorized the prosecution of anyone who refused to comply. Contemporary records confirm the scale. Livy's account in his 39th book states that more than 7,000 Romans were investigated. Hundreds were executed, thousands fled before they could be reached. The official justification was moral corruption. The rites promoted excess, conspiracy, disorder. But Livy's account contains a detail the official version preferred to leave unexamined. The Senate's primary witness, the person whose testimony triggered the entire suppression, was a freed woman. Her name was Hispala Faecinia. She had been initiated into the Bacchic network, and she knew its structure from the inside. When she came forward, she gave testimony that reached across 3 regions of Italy, and her reward was extraordinary. Legal protections that Roman women of her class were simply not supposed to hold, as property rights, independent legal standing, formal senatorial gratitude. The Senate was not afraid of what happened inside those rights. Scholars who have examined the Bacchanalian evidence closely, including the actual content of the decree versus the panic in Livy's account, have noted a consistent pattern. The real threat was structural. The Bacchic network was cross-class in a way that Roman social order was specifically designed to prevent. Aristocratic wives, freed women, and slaves occupied the same ritual space without any male overseer present. The Senate didn't fear the ceremony. They feared what was organised there. The precedent was now 124 years old. When sacred space is breached and Rome's elite feel exposed, they do not investigate, they prosecute. And the people who end up facing consequences are rarely the most powerful ones who are in the room. The chamber beside the Temple of Vesta is small, 2 lamps, a scribe in the corner whose stylus Fauna watches more carefully than she watches the man asking the questions. She has learned, over 3 decades in this city, to read intent from hands. The questions begin where they always begin with powerful men who cannot ask what they actually want to know. What time did she arrive at Caesar's house? Where exactly was she positioned during the 2nd hour? Did she leave the main hall at any point during the ceremony? Who else was carrying a lamp near the east corridor? She answers each question the way she has learned to answer questions in this city. Truth and omission balanced like weights on a scale, carefully enough that neither side tips. She is not protecting Clodius. She has no interest in Clodius. She is navigating the precise distance between what a freed woman's testimony can establish and what it can cost her to establish it. The man pauses. Then he says something that confirms the shape of what she already suspected. He does not represent the religious authority, but he represents a private interest. He is being paid, not appointed. His final question, the one he has been constructing toward for the entire conversation, is not about Clodius at all. It is about a specific woman who was in the room, a specific name, a specific exchange that may or may not have been overheard near the east wall during the 2nd hour of the rite. Fauna understands now. This was never about punishing the man who crossed the threshold. This is about reaching something he saw before he was removed. The real danger wasn't that a man entered the ceremony. The real danger is what the women inside it were already holding, and who, outside that room, needed to make sure it stayed buried. Here is what the history books have always gotten wrong about the Bona Dea scandal. That the conventional framing is a story about religious transgression, a reckless aristocrat dressed as a woman, a sacred rite violated, a scandalized city demanding accountability, a trial that disappointed everyone. That is the version that survived. Tidy, dramatic, centered entirely on Publius Clodius Pulcher and what he did or did not do inside Caesar's house. That framing is not wrong, it is simply aimed at the wrong target. Consider the logistics. The Bona Dea rite rotated annually through the homes of Rome's most senior magistrates. That is not incidental. That is a guest list engineered by the structure of Roman politics itself. In 62 BC, the women inside Caesar's house included the wives and attendants of nearly every significant factional interest in the late Republic. Cicero's household, Pompey's, Caesar's own. Women who, in every other legal and social context, had no mechanism whatsoever to gather, speak, and coordinate without a male guardian present. Rome had no private political space for women. None. There was no forum they could enter as participants, no assembly where their voices registered, and no legal instrument that permitted them to meet as a group outside male oversight, except here. The sacred prohibition around the Bona Dea did not exist to protect the goddess from contamination. It existed, functionally, to protect the only annual, legally sealed, officially unrecorded gathering of Rome's most politically connected women from the one thing the Senate could not survive, knowing what was said there. What Clodius walked into was not a religious ceremony. It was the closest thing the Roman world produced to a closed-door session of people who had no other room to meet in. And when he crossed that threshold, he didn't commit sacrilege, he committed surveillance. Now Caesar's response looks completely different. He did not divorce Pompeia because he doubted her virtue, and he divorced her because she was about to become the centre of a legal inquiry that would require her to testify about what she witnessed and what she knew. Caesar could not afford the question. The famous line, "Caesar's wife must be above suspicion," was never about her character, it was a calculation. He was closing the door before anyone could ask what was behind it.